Greetings viewers. Today I'd like to give you a tour at least, of my new electrical device. Not a transformer, unfortunately. I know. This is my 2013 Tesla Model S 60 kilowatt hour battery. I purchased this from carvision.com. So I thought I would just do a video because so many people seem interested in these older Model S's that are used. So I just give you how I came to buy this car, history of the car, and my experience transitioning to an electric vehicle, let alone a Tesla. So I've always been a fan of Tesla ever since the Roadster days back when I was a teenager. And once the Model S came out, it's very popular back in the day, kind of on social media. And I've always wanted one. Even the Model 3, Model Y that have come out, I felt like I've always wanted just the Model S. So I've always had, my F-150, which I featured in this channel, and, a side beater car that I would daily drive. And, I went through the Dodge Neon, burned that up, the Geo Prism, that, got rid of that. And I had a Honda Accord 1994 manual transmission, which I had for years and years. I've really enjoyed that car. But it had almost 400,000 miles, still has. Burning oil, it got to the point where it was burns a quart every gas tank fill. And, the head gasket was starting to go. And then the rust in the back started leaking water into the trunk and back seat area, and it started growing mold. So before I discovered the rust, I was burning the oil, I decided, well, I'm going to look at buying a different car. I looked at getting a beater, but, working in healthcare and seeing patients who, are in accidents in older 90s cars and get their legs cut off, or, seeing someone's foot laying severed on the footboard of their 1992 Acura, made me realize, I'm making enough money now that I can, not drive a car that will leave me severely paralyzed in an accident. So I looked online at Teslas. This was the 5th Tesla I looked at before purchasing it. I looked at a 2014 Model S 60, 2017 Model S Raven, 2012 Signature, and then a 2022 Tesla Model S. That was a Palladium refresh before I purchased this car. These carvision Teslas are pretty popular online. I looked at the 2014 at CarMax maybe 6 months ago, and then when I started looking to buy another car, I looked at a 2012 Signature that was available at CarVision online. I went to my local, they have a location local to where I live, and I looked at it, but by the time I got there, it was already sold and on transfer to a different location. So they had a 2017 Model S Raven, which it was a nice car. It was a Florida car, but at that time I wasn't so sure I wanted to buy a Tesla Model S. It's still up in the air. And they were asking 17, but the catch to these prices is it's the price after your estimated discount. So that car probably was in the mid-20s on the sticker. I didn't get a chance to look at the sticker. But anyway, I saw this online, and this was after I discovered the moldy back seat in my Accord. So I went I reached out to CarVision. I said I was interested in the car and asked if they still had it. They said they did. I said, can you put it on hold? I would like to come and look at it. So they did. And then the next day I went to the Tesla dealership and test drove a brand new Model S long range just to benchmark what it was like. And then on the Tesla lot, they had a 2022 Model S long range in the 30s, which I considered for a moment, but I didn't want to be financing a car if I'm, trying to build a house, having a car loan on my credit. So maybe if I didn't buy all the Transformers, I could have paid cash, but I decided not to buy that car. So I went to Carvision and looked at this Model S. This Model S was advertised at $10,000, $10,999, but it was stickered at $14,000. It's actually originally $15,999, but I think they ate it on this car. This car was a New Jersey car its whole life. Might have had a lot of supercharging. I suspect the previous owners lived in an apartment complex and then traded this in on a new Model S. The reason why I know this is because they left a lot of documents in the glove box before they, Tesla and Carvision did not clean it out before they eventually sold it to me. But anyway, so it was not used as an Uber or a Lyft or rental cars, which a lot of the private party Teslas I found for sale were just absolute trash. At least 4 owners, company fleet owned, sketchy histories. This is a clean Carfax, 1 owner Model S, and as far as I can see, there's been no accidents. No accident damage that wasn't reported to Carfax. All the VIN stickers match, all the paint matches. So I went and looked at it. I checked all the doors, the door handles and regulators work. They've all been replaced. That is the only one that's been replaced once. All of these are all the new generation. This is the Gen 2 to 2.5. So I checked over the car, everything worked. One thing I didn't realize about having a Model S, or an electric vehicle in general, is you will hear everything that sound the car makes. So Carvision put a new set of brakes on, which, as you can see, they're still a little fresh after the around 4,000 miles I've driven this car. And when I test drove it, the brakes were not, the rotors, these rotors were not worn to the pads, so it was making quite a concern. I was concerned with the noise it was making, shall I say, but they reassured me that it was just because of the brakes, and after driving this car and wearing the pads in, the noises subsided. One noise with this car, it does make the classic whine from 20 to 40 miles an hour. Not a milling sound, and it does not get worse when you mash on it, but I understand that I could be putting a large drive unit in this car at some point if I want to keep it long term, which I am prepared to do. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the coolant delete. I'm not sure if it's even been done on this car. It's after I purchased this car, I purchased this car winter 2024, which is the historic Arctic blast that the U.S. had. So for almost 2 weeks, it was in the single digits, teens at the highest, sub-zeros overnight. And it was a pretty hard challenge having this car at first without the supercharging network. It took me almost a month to get Tesla to approve my ownership of the car. So not having the supercharger and the app to precondition and just plugging it into a level 1 charger at home, it was quite a struggle. But now that I've had a few warm days with the car, up to 60 degrees, it's pretty good, pretty amazing actually. I think the 60 is a little bit on the smaller side. I would have liked to get an 85 or a 70, but at the time they just weren't available. One owner clean Carfax, the P85s were kind of all trashed. So little bit about the condition. It has, every wheel has a scratch on it somewhere, a little door ding right there. This taillight has a little bit of condensation in it. This one here has a moderate amount of condensation. I may end up fixing this one. Let's see, just general scratches. You know, this car has 109,000 miles when I bought it. It has around 113 now. And one thing that was a little bit of a concern when I purchased this car, Carvision does offer a warranty on the battery and motor, but it's actually a bumper-to-bumper warranty, and I inquired about it, and when I went to sign for the car, they said, yeah, we'll get you the warranty. It was $5,000 for 2 years, 24 months originally. I thought, oh, that's a little low, but then when I signed the paperwork, they said it was for 3 years, 36, but then they couldn't get me the paperwork that day. They'd have to email it to me, and the email never came, and I thought, well, I'm really getting taken for a ride here. But I believe I know because they told me this, they go through a third party, and my suspicion is that the third party was not going to approve this car for the bumper-to-bumper warranty, but for obvious reasons, the age, the mileage. But you know, I was having a panic attack for a week after I bought this car, and telling me, you know, I made a mistake, how stupid, you bought a Tesla, why do you buy a car like that, so stupid. But you know, all those concerns have melted away after driving this car for that long, with, you know, in range to the battery functioning. It truly is just like the engine in a car. You don't think of it, but even, you know, so the total price of this car to me is $13,100. No matter what car you purchase at that price point, you know, an engine trouble could arise. But anyway, to talk about the interior condition, I can tell this also was not an Uber because this door card has the most wear and this seat has the most wear. The back seats have some wear. They could be cleaned up a little better. I didn't get a chance to do a full in-depth detail of this car yet. But anyway, this seat here is actually pretty worn, and this A, B pillar. And I'm thinking, how did that happen? But actually, the way these seats are, when you reach for the seat belt, that's a pretty common rub point. A little bit of ruffles in the seat from people's asses being on it. A little bit of trim tear here. Apologies for the mess. It's I've been on a 25 or I've been on several runs today, going to different state parks and recharging the car and then going to the next one. One thing about this car too, it has MCU2, and I did not know how to tell the difference when I bought this car between MCU1 and MCU2. I knew there was a difference, but at the time of ownership of this car, I couldn't tell you the difference. But MCU2 will have theater, MCU1 will not, from what I understand. Anyway, I didn't realize that until I got the car home. Two things that don't work on the car: the hazards, I'm not sure why, and the charge port does not open. So if I want to open the charge port, I have to open charge port, and I have a gift card that I keep in the cup holder, and I have to pop that open. I'm not sure when I'm going to replace that, but I understand it's going to include removing the charge port itself and the tail light, so it's quite an involved repair. But anyway, yeah, I just thought I would do a quick video on this car. I know there's so much to talk about, and I'm already going on 15 minutes. You know, age-wise on the inside, there's some panel gaps, I assume, from when they did the MCU2 upgrade. But, you know, my Ford, you know, I had to replace the nav unit and that, and the panels never went back the same either, so it's not a problem just specific to Tesla. Build quality, you know, it's okay. It's kind of like American luxury car in here. That's about it. There's just so much to talk about. I just thought I would share the condition of the car. You know, like I said, MCU2, and it has a tech package. So, fun fact, if the car does not have the tech package, the rear hatch is not powered, which I did not know. I thought that Raven that I looked at was had an issue with the tailgate because it did not lift automatically, but that car did not have the tech package. So that's about it for this video. I'm sure I skipped over a bunch, but I'll catch you in the next video.